I'm talking about.
And to kind of piggyback on both Laura and what Larry said, I think that from an administrative perspective, I mean, it's kind of a pain in the rear end to manage all these separate smaller funds.
I will agree.
Would probably
It
be a
is
lot
a pain.
easier to manage one consolidated fund and be able to account for all those expenditures without all these transfers going on.
Right.
So the interfund transfer mechanism is cumbersome.
It would be much easier to just have a water fund and
Yep.
a wastewater fund and an electric fund.
And considering we've got a utility director slated to
Right.
come on board.
Yeah.
Might have
At-
some input and
at some
experience
point.
related to it as
And you know,
well.
some cities
Might be
combine
very
their
helpful.
water and wastewater.
Right.
So that might be something that gets then recommended, that the electric would be separate and the other two would be combined. I don't know. That person is not here.
Right.
It's all policy decisions.
Question, sorry.
Yes, on page 11, I'll try to go as fast as I can.
Oh, 11?
Sorry, Roman numeral 11. I'm 16, sorry.
16. Yeah, you're.
Sorry.
XBI.
Yeah, I'm sorry, 16. It says on the first sentence under the wastewater fund that it represents 16% of all enterprise fund revenues. And I'm just curious, what did it represent before we paid for Edgerton's wastewater treatment plant? You remember? Just, I mean, was it significantly less than that?
At one time, I had calculated out how much that was, but it was not as much as a person would think.
Couple points, or?
Probably, but probably.
Okay, and then,
I mean, do you want me to find you an answer, or is this
no, I'm just
hypothetical?
curious whether it was if it was half as
Well-
much, then I would say that was.
And I would
not
have to
good.
do that in a vacuum, because remember also, there was a calculation on how much we were delaying the expansion of Kill Creek
Mhm.
that currently exists, and so we would have to calc all that out.
Then, on the next page, where it talks about debt service on the wastewater development fund, and it shows a 10% increase, on the debt service. As I recall, it seemed like from all those presentations, it's been a year and a half, maybe almost 2 years ago, I thought it was more like 7% that we were projecting, and now it looks like it's a 10% increase.
I can tell you that, if you'd like me to look exactly, I can try to calculate real quick, but in the wastewater development fund, you added for the benefit district for the school. There was this part there. And the biggest pieces that have changed are the Bull Creek treatment plant, which, like I said, delayed the other expansion. But next meeting, we're gonna ask you to amend the KDHE loan for project expenses that weren't originally included in the first loan, which is, they've already approved. So that's probably the difference you're seeing, is the additional. There wasn't a lot of additional expense in the budget, and I already included it, but there is some. So I don't know if it was enough to make that percentage change that much.
You know what, when you mentioned the school district, that's probably the difference, because I'm thinking it was 7% for the.
And we had that in a temp note before, so there wasn't any debt service on that, and now you have debt service for that.
Okay. Next one is, page 21, XXI.
Oh, sorry, I went to the wrong kind of 21. Whoops, I'm out. Okay,
This is talking about the special alcohol and drug fund.
great.
I'm just curious, I know at one time we used, I think this money went towards DARE.
It goes towards the school for what it's all, that's all administered by county. You signed letters before, and there'll be another one coming when they get it ready that'll say how you use that, but it's basically for drug and alcohol treatment prevention programs. I'm not really sure it's so much DARE anymore, because I don't think
I
they
think we
do
canceled
DARE.
that.
You what?
I think we canceled that, shortly after we split split from public safety. We canceled the DARE, well, either we did or the school did.
They may have, but you can only spend this money for that kind of program.
Right, but
for
I'm
whatever they're
curious.
doing.
Captain, do you know what we did with it?
As far as where the money goes, it goes to the school for their for
Whatever they're
they see
doing.
fit to spend it for that
Right.
particular type.
And what I'm saying is the county that there's a county, I can't remember the name of the department right now, it's Human Services or something like that. They administer what the school does with it. I mean, it has to meet their criteria.
Right, but we certainly have input in that, right? The whole reason I'm bringing this up, just so I can get to the point, is that one of the things we were proposing was a STEM program. And I'm just saying, this is a perfect example of, maybe if we find out how this money's being spent, we might get more bang for the buck if we redirect it. And I'm just saying from the short family conversation I've had, DARE was a very well-liked program, and from what I understand, pretty successful. And I'm just curious, I guess what I'm trying to say is if we redeploy that kind of money towards something that we say is effective, because really, we're trying to solve a problem here, and as long as we have say-so in that, then...
I'm not sure how that works, to be honest with you. If you can even do that, you mean instead of sending it through this administrative department, you can keep it yourself and do something you say about it?
Well, no,
I don't know.
I guess I just want to know where that money goes
Well,
and how effective it is. And if we have, it's like anything else, if we have a say in it, because it is technically coming from the city, then rather than fund these other projects like the youth council, maybe we can deploy that money to a better use.
I can't
And
speak
get the
completely
same
to
result.
that. I can tell you that it's gonna have to go per statute, because that's what's happening now. But whether or not it has to go through the county and they say how it goes, I don't know the answer to that.
I would, yeah, I would.
Right, I don't know.
I would, Cam, you think the SROs would have a better idea on something like that?
No,
What they might have
actually, it's
spent
the
money?
school, once the money goes to the school, and they administer by statute, they can spend it however they're allowed to by.
So we don't have any control over that?
I don't think so.
But then why wouldn't they just send it directly to the school? Instead of utilizing.
Well, because it's coming through your books first, because there's a statute that says it will be allocated to the county and then to the city this way. So it's passing through per statute.
The county doesn't really allocate money to the school districts, do they?
I don't know.
I think they can.
I think what I'm saying is there's a statute written that says the city will get whatever the calculation is.
What amount of money are we talking about?
It's $30,000 a year.
But that's
But we don't
almost-
have an option to collect that. I mean, that's mandated by us to collect and give to the county. to
That's right.
distribute. So.
That's right.
I understand, but we don't have
Well,
a way to change that.
I think we ought to verify that as
Well,
well.
we can.
Because I just think that's exactly almost
We'll look at it.
the amount of money we were gonna, spend on youth council.
Sure.
And from what I understand from the teachers who
Are you
have
writing
been
that?
involved in
Your city
DARE.
attorney's got that one. He's handling it.
And for all the, DARE was a well-liked and pretty popular and, from education perspective, I think it was effective. Maybe not, but, okay, under the bottom of the page, capital, projects funds.
Mm-hmm.
How much money are we actually spending on streets right now?
Maintenance?
I thought I saw $40,000 somewhere.
It's not much. Hold on.
Yeah.
But it's projected to be more soon when everything starts dropping off, so let me look real quick. Hold on.
Yeah, it says, although 2015 expenditures are 19.7. We're still on 21.
Okay. Roman.
Yes.
Last
Mhm.
paragraph, second to last sentence in there.
I mean, it says $19,700. The actual amount that should be transferred for debt services, like a huge number, $1 million.
That's right. It's a huge number, so, let's see, what are you reading?
Again, in here,
Improvement. So, all this is saying is, so street improvement is funded by excise tax on platted property.
Mhm.
Okay, so, we're not platting much property, because you've got a lot of property that's already platted,
Mhm.
that's being infilled. So, that is the revenue stream for this fund. And it's not enough.
Yep.
And your debt service for streets far exceeds that. So, what I'm saying, or what we're saying, is that's what it says, but you're covering $573,000 from bond and interest, and you're covering $250,000 from special highway fund for your debt coverage, because your bond covenants say you will make your payments.
Mhm.
So,
what do we think we're spending on streets? Yes, we have.
well, you're spending, that fund is talking about debt service of streets that are already built.
Which we have no control over, it's too late.
Right, they're already built.
Right, they're built.
Mhm.
But-
Right.
But I'm curious as to what it really costs to maintain our roads.
So maintenance is in the special highway funds, and that's different. So that's where you saw the